We live. We live. So yeah, this is definitely a different approach for a lot of people because I'm starting off with food in my mouth.
That's nothing. Sometimes I eat applesauce.
Yeah. So um I'm privileged and I'm honored, bro, to be here tonight. Spend some time with you. Um to everybody watching, this is like my first live stream on YouTube, which is exciting for a lot of different reasons. Um and one of the main reasons is the fact that I'm getting to spend some time and share or introduce to a lot of people what I would call a founder of a company that is picking up some steam, a new company. And it's by a brother, is founded by a brother who I've known for a while and who has always been um, full of integrity and authentically positive, right? In the face of whatever adversity that he might have been challenged with. So
Synonymous. I don't know who that is, but hey, what's up? Thanks for
yeah.
joining.
What's happening, Synonymous? Ooh, ooh to you as well.
Uzos as well.
You know what I mean? But um, ladies and gentlemen, um, can I use your full name and then
Yeah, yeah.
introduce?
Go ahead, man.
All right.
Let's say, go ahead. We better get used to
Yeah,
that, man. You have to be. I think you should always introduce yourself, no matter how big you get.
yeah.
Your ego shouldn't be so big that you don't walk in a room and introduce yourself.
That's what's up. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Junior Agboki. All right, and he is the founder of Sanusi Vision. And I know you're going to correct me on the pronunciation. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to that because I want to get it right. But yeah, bro, we go back a few years. In fact, for me, it's longer than I even realized, and I think for both of us, right? And I got a chance to come on your channel a week or so ago, which was amazing, and the chemistry was amazing. But I think for a lot of reasons that when we first met each other, we were both very passionate people. We had dreams and ambitions, and we faced a few things as well in life in the midst of going after those dreams and ambitions. And yeah, I don't think at the time, as you said, we rightfully recognized um, some common experiences, right? But one of the common experiences that I know that we share, well, two main ones, is our love and appreciation for. I don't even know if I want to call it comics. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to say animation,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to say animation. The love and appreciation, the deep love and appreciation for animation, and then on top of that, deep love and appreciation for music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Right. That's pretty. Long Beach. Long Beach. Yeah. 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 That's what we doing, man. I mean, for me, how I started was I started around 11 years old, man. And I don't think I really had a. I started drawing at around 11, and the drawing came out of necessity. To be honest with you, because childhood was rough, so it was a great escape from. I think God just blessed me with this thing. Like, hey, this is gonna be your escape from all this stuff. This I'm gonna make you have an umbrella, something that's gonna protect you mentally to be able to how do you say get away. And then it went from a getaway to like, oh, I love drawing now. It's just this is just too much fun. And then you don't realize art is an important factor in your life because a lot of artists, when I'm given the opportunity to art is seen as something that is just a hobby, not a way of earning a living, not a way of making a future for yourself. It's seen as, hey, you just get to do it. That's it. Oh, I think your stream is slow, Kimba. I think it's your Wi-Fi is acting sketchy, so it's slowing you down. Um, yeah, 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 yeah.
Also, let's just shout out and
Synonymous,
Anamichi
Animichi
Gold.
Golem. Man, we got a lot of action going on right now. Okay, this is beautiful. All of y'all, what's up? How y'all doing? This is Cajun from America right here. That's your boy Kimba. He's the host, hosting this amazing platform. Um, I think we're straight now. I think we're okay. I think it's a little bit better
Cool.
now.
Yeah, we
There we
back.
go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
So, y'all, we apologize for all that, but yeah,
yeah.
dude. Let me start again. So, the drawing started around 11 years old. Came out
Mm-hmm.
of necessity because it was just the way my childhood was a rather rugged one. Is the best word for me to use. Um, as I said before, I've been a man since I was 7 years old. Man, it's one of my good friends says at this junction, you're a senior citizen. You just look young. I was laughing, man. But that's my life, and I think those those harsh experiences made me stronger than most people. I don't
Yeah.
know what country this person's from. Nikat Adi Love. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for appreciate you showing up, man. But
And this is probably someone I met from Azerbaijan while
oh,
I've been here.
oh, sweet. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
But
Nakat,
yeah,
Nakat, what's happening?
yeah.
Thank you for joining the
Man, thank
stream.
you for joining us.
Somebody
What?
saying show us your work, bro.
Well,
Listen, let me interrupt. He's
look,
no, hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me do this. He's actually wearing his work.
yeah. Thank
What
you.
you see before your eyes is
Yeah,
actually his work
I'm
on
wearing
his
this.
back.
This is a custom hoodie. So let me see, let y'all see it. You see, that's the right side, that's the left side. So this is a
So all
custom
of
hoodie. I'm wearing a beanie.
all of these characters he's actually created, and he's got clothes as well as comic books coming. So
Yeah,
or
so
some available already. So,
yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
it's
take us
all
back.
about like Kimber said.
So 11 years old. Okay,
Yeah,
drawing was an escape. Animation was an escape for
it
you.
was an
But let me
escape.
ask you,
Go
who
ahead.
introduced you to? Was it a comic? Oh, Snow Anonymous is saying, where can I get it? You want to go ahead and hit
Oh,
that?
SanusiVision.com. That's SA. Look, let me point this to you so make it easy for you. Let me get this one out. Here we go. SanusiVision.com. Right there. You can go SanusiVisionShop.com or SanusiVision.com. It's gonna take you to the same place. You know what I mean? So two same places. So that's what see what's beautiful about being independent? Right here. This is how commerce is made. This is why you don't need all these big platforms anymore. They need you. Right here. You're chewing on whatever you're chewing on. I'm over here in my apartment and we got somebody trying to buy a comic book. It don't get no better than that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Y'all wait till I show you some gear. Don't worry, y'all going sneakers, all kinds of craziness. You know what I mean?
Oh
But
man. Yeah. So
it
11
came
years
from
old.
yep,
So
sir.
who or what was it? Was it a cartoon, a show? Was it an uncle, an auntie, and gave you a pen and a pad, a pencil and a pad? What initiated?
That's funny. My mom took me to the dollar store and we went to go buy because back then a pack of paper was like $1 for ruled paper,
Mm-hmm.
not drawing paper but ruled paper because we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
buy no drawing paper. So mom bought me a pack of pencils for $1, and a pack of paper ruled paper for $1. So I took it. Well, I'm not doing nothing. Let me just take a pencil and put something on paper.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to mom. I don't remember what I drew. All I know is I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Because my mom was like, Junior, what are you doing? Nigerian parents. So I'm using my accent. my 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 mom was like, what are you doing? And then
Mm-hmm.
she tells my dad. And then my dad was like, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. I'm drawing. I don't know. Whatever this is, that's what I'm doing. So I'm like, I myself don't even know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm over here like drawing. Okay, this is kind of cool. And then since that day, because I grew up on a lot of cartoons like X-Men, Thundercats, Teenage
Mm-hmm.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told and I was like, at that time, I wasn't thinking about having my own thing. I was just like, I just want to be able to draw. My goal was to draw every single superhero that I could think of. And I drew every single one of them. All the Marvel characters, all the DC characters, Voltron, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Brave Star, You name it, I was drawing it. And I wasn't
Mm.
just drawing it small. Oh no, I was drawing huge. I'm talking 5 feet drawings, like humongous. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just like, okay, I think I got something here, but I still don't understand. I still did not understand the gift. I just saw it as, oh, I'm just gonna draw and that's it. And you know, I think there's a word I want to use. Like there wasn't a great. I didn't understand the appreciation I need to have for what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any
Mm-hmm.
sense. So
Uh-huh.
that's when it started, and then it I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna drawing. I'm gonna keep drawing, and then I got to high school. I started
Mm-hmm.
reading a lot of comics, man. X-Men specifically, a lot of
Right.
X-Men.
Right.
Yes, I did watch Invisibles Anonymous. I watched the whole. I've caught up to season 3. Man, boy, it's gruesome. That cartoon is gruesome.
Yeah. And listen, animation, to your point, right? You said and you didn't realize the significance of your gift for your life, right? Now, I think we can say that about a lot of things, but
Yeah,
particularly about animation, and I'll tell
yeah,
you why, right? You said a lot of people have looked at animation as a hobby,
yeah,
right?
yep,
And it wasn't until people like Walt Disney and Jim Henson,
yeah.
and I forget what the creator of Charlie Brown, I mean Snoopy and Charlie
Snoopy,
Brown,
yeah,
Peanuts and all that, right? So it wasn't until those guys invested themselves that they changed the trajectory of art in a sense. But I want to go back to something else as well that you said about your when you initiated or first started to create with a pencil. One of the greatest things I believe that is required for someone to excel in any endeavor or discipline is something that you naturally had, which was fearlessness.
yeah,
You were fearless. You weren't intimidated to pick up a pencil and put your ideas on the page, right? Even to the extent when your parents asked you what you were doing, even though you weren't clear on what exactly you were doing, right? You had the courage to say, or you had the courage to take the leap and say, listen, I feel like I'm being creative. And I just wanted to make that point because it's so easy, especially when it comes to the arts, to be intimidated, right, by what other people might think of what you're creating or are trying to create, you know? So that's big, bro.
You know what's funny? You remember we talked about that last time when we came on by my show, the fear box. The fear box,
Mm.
man, the fear box is a very real entity. That's
Hmm.
why only like 2% of human beings only pursue their dreams. So myself, yourself, and a few others, and I do stress the word a few others. So if we've got 300 million people or 7 billion people living, out of 7 billion people, we're talking only we're talking only
I'm
500,000
great, dude.
have the guts to chase their dream. That is not very good. That is very, very bad. That means you got the rest of people just saying, I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna settle for what the world wants to give me. Nah, I'm not doing that. You are right. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew one thing though. Something about this pencil is gonna be is very. I know one thing. I like pencil more than I like school. So, so,
Come on,
so
bro.
I was like,
Come on.
well, I'm gonna get this, man. I'm gonna figure this out. So I
Come
spent the
on,
rest of
bro.
my life up until this junction where I stand now, figuring out how to
Hmm.
use it. It wasn't until 2009
Yeah.
when I started creating my own characters when I realized, okay, now, okay, this gift is getting better. What are you gonna
Hmm.
do with it? What
Hmm.
can you create? Because I got tired of doing other people's stuff, right? Redrawing what everybody else did. That's corny to me.
Right.
And so that's when the birth of my whole universe came. Carjack for
Mm.
Assassins, this logo that you see right here.
Lovely.
Um,
Hold
um,
on. I want to go back. I want to go back to that. Let me just shout out Snow Anonymous as well, too, because Snow
yes.
Anonymous is plugged in.
She said,
Says,
"How you
Kimber,
know
you
so
know so much. I mean, Snow, I'm gonna say it like this. All I know is what I've experienced thus far and what revelations I've had about those experiences I've had and looking at the life that I feel I'm supposed to live. and the lives that I've seen others live. So I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate the encouragement. But all of us know a lot.
Yep.
We know more a lot of times than what we think we know. But again, as our founder here was saying, there's a box called fear, and sometimes we're intimidated to do what we know because we feel like others may know more than us. And some people do know more than us about some things, but there's some, we all specialize in a certain realm of information. And when we start to apply ourselves with that level of understanding that we have, then life really shifts. We become like that 2% who recognize, that each of us is gifted, and we have a responsibility to pursue the fruit of those gifts, because otherwise we live a life that is we're not
Unfulfilled.
fulfilled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfulfilled. You just said it simultaneously. That's really what happens to you. Knowledge is. I think we're born with a with these abilities. I say it all the time, and my uncle always says this to me. It's our duty to wake up to it every day and activate it. Show courage. I know I'm
Yeah.
not saying in its full perplexity, but that's what my uncle
Hmm.
says to me, and that's why I have this
Yeah.
fearless attitude. I failed a lot. I've been homeless. None of that moves me at
Mm.
all, and it doesn't stop me from getting after it. And you don't really. I think what happened to me was when I did experience the homelessness. That's when I didn't. It's funny. I was homeless and I still think about cartoons.
Ooh, ooh, that's big. That's big. That's big.
Yeah,
That's
that
big.
was that was I've pretty much I've been paralyzed before. I've been tested, man. When we're always talking, every time I'd be like, Kimba, I'll do this, and then after that I'll go work out. Because that's
Yeah.
literally what what um what saved me, because I when I was playing football in college, I got hurt. So
Mm.
my left side got paralyzed, was starting to face paralyzation. And the sad part was that at that time when it was happening, that's when I was reaching my apex. Bro, I was
Wow.
turning into a monster. Like
Wow.
I was nice. Like I was
Wow.
nice like that. My teammates were
Wow.
like, bro, how did you end up at Louisville as nice as you are? I said honestly, I didn't like school. But I just pursued football. Football was a getaway. But when I figured out it wasn't a getaway, it was actually something I enjoyed.
Right.
Man, when I say if you watch film on me, I'm fast and everybody's going slow.
Yeah.
And I was, yeah, I look like a ghost when you see me on tape. You're
Wow.
like, what the? Yeah, so it was. I was reaching my apex. I get hurt. I have to come to the realization that if I want to walk, I better quit football. So we spent the next 6 months
Wow.
rehabbing me. And the only reason why I was able to see rehabilitation was because I was a football player. I think if I was just a normal
Wow.
person, I wouldn't have got the treatment I needed to get well. So I value
Wow.
walking, I value running, I value getting up in the morning. That's why I have no
Right.
fear of failure. It doesn't bother me at all. Like it does, I welcome failure. I feel like failure teaches me more than success. And the great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, said that. You know what I'm saying? I was a monster
Wow.
Kobe fan. And it wasn't because he was a
Mm-hmm.
basketball player. No, that was just his occupation. It's his mindset
Mm.
that made him great. Like he had no fear. Like he did not care.
Mm.
Like 10
Mm.
seconds left, I'm taking this shot. Don't care if it goes in or goes out. See, great people don't think about if the shot's going to go in or go out. Great people don't think when they drop an album, is it going to sell platinum? No, they just do it. Go, that's it. It's like Talib Kweli and Mos Def just did something that nobody's ever done before. They released their album completely independent. No
Yeah.
labels, no none of that. And it's doing well. Now they've
Mm.
shown us all of Brooklyn like, hey, forget these record labels, forget these institutions that talk about what they can do for you. No, we'll just do it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
know
that's
what that.
that's
Mm. Go ahead. Go
that's
ahead,
where
bro.
that started from.
You that when you say that, when you speak about, those hurdles and obstacles you overcome, it brings me back to a question I wanted to ask you
Yes, sir.
about your journey as a um a animator, or yeah, I'm gonna call you an animator. I don't want to call you a cartoonist. I'm gonna call you an animator because I
Yeah.
feel like that's what you are. Um, you know, coming up with these characters, it's like, why do you believe in these characters enough to
Yeah.
invest your time, you know what I'm saying, to the
Yeah.
page and to the development? Like, why, what is it that draws you into saying, you know what, I'm gonna let this live? Like,
Man, that's a
is it?
question. I love it. That's nobody's ever asked me that before. Not even my family. That's man. I think there's the emotional tether to my characters because
Mm,
one, they're based on myself, my two brothers, my sister, my big brother, my best friend, and
mm,
they come from an emotional place. But also two, I see a whole. There's nothing that looks like us, and I do mean that in every sense of the word. In the mean of African based characters that do the same thing as Avengers, same thing as X-Men, same thing as Voltron. Nothing, even till today, as I stand right now, there's nothing that cool. Nothing that cool. There's been a
mm,
few stop gaps. You've had
yeah.
Static Shock, you've had Spawn, you've
Mm-hmm.
had you've had Black Panther, but I'm talking about like where we make a whole group, then each person in that group can become an individual. And I just said to myself, okay, I can complain about it or I can do something about it. And I'm not the complaining type. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2009, I start this journey. I said, I'm going to create these characters. I spent from 2009 to 2012 creating my characters. I did not know it would take that long to create them. It would take me 6 months to draw each person. I would take 6 months. The drawing might come out okay. I'm like, oh, I got to start all over again. So I start
Right.
all over again. So I create the heroes first, the carjacks. So the first character ever created was this guy right here. His name's Cajun, right? This guy right here. So for
Okay.
all of y'all looking, this guy right here. And
Okay.
I've
Do me
always
a
had that
favor.
name.
Hold on. Don't stay there. But do me a favor. Can you spell out Sanusi? Actually, let me just spell it out. Guys, listen.
SANUSI. See, y'all see that right there? Y'all see the logo?
S
Let me
A.
actually flip it. See, look.
Yeah, that's it.
NUSI.
U SANUSI
Yes, sir.
vision.com.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
SANUSI vision.com. Okay, so that's
That
where
is
you need to
correct.
go. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
That is correct.
Cajun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
So I create Cajun. Conceptually, he was what's in my mind. But the first time I actually put a pencil to create one of my characters was Sincere. Now, Sincere is this lady right here. Sincere is based on my dream girl. I remember saying to myself, what kind of woman would be my woman? I wanted independence, smarts, courage, selfless, could
mm,
not be selfish.
mm.
I just said, oh, I know I'm gonna call her Sincere because she's honest. That was
Whoa.
that people don't understand that. That's a major saying for me to say that I want an honest woman.
Yeah.
That's based on experiences. Like you have to be honest. I'm not dealing
Yeah.
with you if you're honest. I
Yeah.
don't want to hear your excuses for not being honest. Just be
Mm.
honest. It's just that simple.
Right.
Plain simple. So I got Sincere. Then next thing you know, I started like I need more characters. So I got Glocks, I got Rasputin, I got Escalade. I'm over here like, okay, I gotta start. I start drawing these characters one at a time. So
Yeah.
Cajun was the last person I drew in the hero side, which are the carjacks, right? Which are these guys on this side, right? And
I
then I
gotta
got
know.
the assassins, the
You
villains.
gotta talk about that name in a minute too.
Oh yeah,
But
carjacks
let
assassins.
no, let that go. Carry
Yeah.
on. Sincere. And just to let y'all know, these are Azerbaijani dates I'm eating right here with peanuts. So just to let y'all know.
Hey man, I told you I eat cereal on my show. I ain't man. You do whatever you want. This ain't nobody telling nobody how to go about their business, man. That's so hilarious. So I create these heroes, and then you got Shepard right here. You got Diesel right here, and a lot of things that were happening was the characters came from individuals that I knew, so it made it more personal. It made it more
Yeah.
emotional connection.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
I got the heroes. Then the last person, Sincere, is based on my dream girl. So Cajun is me. My brother's Glocks. My other brother's Rasputin. My sister's Escalade. My best
Mm-hmm.
friend Shepard. My big
Mm-hmm.
brother's Diesel. Then of course my
Ah, I
dream girl
see,
is
I see, I
Sincere.
see, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
I
So
see
now
it, I see it.
I got the heroes.
Yeah, I
Now I
see it.
need villains. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I need villains, so I created counters. So for example, Sun Tzu, the leader of the villains, is me, but my bad side, right?
Oh, listen. Hey,
So
listen. We getting the sauce, guys.
yeah.
This
Y'all
is the
getting
sauce. This is sauce.
the inside scoop, and
This is
then
sauce.
artillery is the count of Escalade.
Mm-hmm.
Glock, I mean excursion is the count of Glocks. Revo's the count of Rasputin. Revo now is based on my cousin. Because I remember creating the characters, and my cousin was like, "Yo, don't make me no hero, man. I want to be a villain." He straight up said he don't want to be no hero. He want to be a villain, and I had no idea
Ain't that
that
a
when I created,
song? Ain't that a
say what?
song? We don't need another hero.
Hero. Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be no hero. I want to be a villain. And then I did not know that creating him as a villain would make him super cool.
Oh
So,
look, Snownonymous said, "Who's the counterpart to Sincere?"
oh, Kanji. Kanji is the counterpart to Sensei. So Kanji, this girl right here. Now, this is I can't give out a lot of stuff, but because of the comic book, which is coming out this year. But Kanji and Sincere are like they have a really close bond, and you get
Uh
to see
oh.
why Kanji hates Sincere.
Uh oh.
like it's a very entangled, twisted, like very a sisterhood that got broken, and then you get to see why it got broken. Like it's just very like it's very. I made the cartoon. I made the characters so intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Cajun and Sansu are contemporaries. Contemporaries. You get to see why they're enemies. You see what I'm saying? What creates the animosity between them?
Mm-hmm.
Escalade and Artillery are two different ladies from different military backgrounds, and you get to see why they're so equal in terms of strength, abilities, all that stuff. So
Mm.
what I was really trying to do was create a universe where Kimba could say, "Hey, Cage is my favorite."
Mm.
Synonymous will say, "Yo, Sensei is my favorite," or somebody should say, "Rasputin is my favorite." Just creating that same thing we used to do with the Avengers, with the X-Men, with Voltron, with Thundercats. Because somebody loved Pantro, somebody loved Lionel, somebody loved Tigra.
Lionel.
There you go. So it was the same thing with me. So once I created the characters in 2012, I
Yeah.
realized, okay, I copyrighted the first copyright, and I said to myself, okay, we got characters. What are you going to do with them? You need
Mm-hmm.
something. You need not just posters, but you need something. And that's what gave birth to the birth of these books you're seeing me in my hand right here. These are bio
Wow.
books. This is version 1, version 2, version 3. See, at the time when I created the characters still had no name. No name.
Wow.
No name. Like Cajun wasn't Cajun, Sincere wasn't Sincere,
Yeah.
Diesel wasn't Diesel. No name. They're just characters. And so I spent another 6 months creating names. And this is going to make you laugh. It actually was harder to create names and profiles than it was to draw them.
Oh, I can believe it.
That
Let me
was
tell you
weird.
why. I can believe it because when you start giving things names, or when you start naming things, right? You got to think about the past, the present, and the future of what that is.
Yep.
So there's layers to that, as opposed to when you draw it, you have in mind, because when you start naming things, you start thinking about the story, or
Yeah.
what is this person like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That whole thing like that. So
Yeah.
it makes
Dude,
sense,
the
bro.
names, man, let me tell you the names, boy. And then you know what I did to help myself? I took my real names and I tried to make like same names with the characters. So that it would line up, like, for example, my last name is Agboke, right? But in English it means Phoenix. So the,
Mm,
the characters' names are Jones Phoenix, Sarah
mm,
Phoenix, Sean
mm.
Phoenix, Chris Phoenix. So the name, but see, I'm not gonna give out too much, but I'm gonna give you all that because
Nah,
when the
don't
book
give
drops,
out too much.
yeah, I can't give out too much because
Don't
as
give
we do
out too
further
much.
projects in the future, the animation series, the comic series, you're going to see a transition with name changing because you're going to be one way or another. Kimba's going to be part of this journey because as far as when the animation drops, he's going to be doing music behind the background, like
Watch out.
like create 2 songs on the soundtrack. So
Watch out.
there are things that are going to be happening that is going to really continue to expand this bridge, this tether. And so that's what
Yeah.
the actors. So I went through phases. So phase 1 was version 1 was created finally in 2012. So that's where you
Mm-hmm.
get these right here. But then
Okay.
what happens with anything that you do is that if y'all can see it clearly, right? Because this is the best version to show them. What
It's
happens to
lovely.
you? You start to grow as an artist. Your skill starts to grow. Then I got
Right.
version 2. Now right here is when you see the characters start changing. Now, for anybody
Mm.
who wants to know, this bio book is available on my website right now, called vision.com. So this is actually an important book because this book is going to tell you character profiles, where they're from. So that way, when the actual comic book drops this year, it'll make sense to you. You know where the characters are from, who's
Right.
who, whatever. Because they don't look like
X,
this no more.
like Origins, X-Men Origins.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So X-Men used to do that all the time. They would come up with these books that would talk about the origin of the characters. So version 1, version 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what do you notice here? the logo starts to change. Look at that. You
Ah.
see that? And then right
Mm.
here. And then, of course, it
Ah.
doesn't look like this no more. So the logo starts to change. The characters start to change. So you go from this to this, as you can see. Then from this to version 5. Now, when I got to this version, oh, man, that's when I said, okay, now my stuff is starting to look like what I grew up on. Gundam Wing, Voltron, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So what happening was, we like to use this word change, but change wasn't what was happening. I was evolving.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you said, right? I was evolving. And just as when I first started the first time, no fear. I had no fear. I just kept on
Mm.
going. And that no
Mm.
fear served me well to the point where now I'm over here like, I need to create a comic book. I need to start thinking about how this is going to become a cartoon. I need to educate myself. And I stress the word educate. I don't mean educate as in this
School.
school nonsense. No. Educate myself in a way to going to make these characters become the best version they can be.
Yeah.
Acquire knowledge. See, what all these people that, well, I don't want to call them successful or wealth because I don't like looking up to rich people. They don't make me happy. I
Yeah.
look up to people that give knowledge. So somebody like Tupac, rest in peace, or Fela Kuti, or Malcolm X, or Martin Luther King, or Rosa Parks, or Gandhi. People like that. They share knowledge. Knowledge is the most integral, the most important tool in the box. When you have knowledge, now you can go seek courage. You can go seek courage. Once you got knowledge, because once you got knowledge, your next thing you need to go get is courage, so that you can have the courage to go do the things you want to do, pursue your dream, be the best version of yourself. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason why you should live in this existence because we're not immortal. The only thing immortal about us is our creations and our name. You have to
Mm.
decide how many. Like right now, Tupac has been gone 26 years, but he's still the greatest. Fela Kuti's been gone 27 years. He's still the greatest. Malcolm X has been gone 65 years. He's still the greatest. Gandhi's
Mm.
been gone, I don't know, 35, 40, 70 plus years. Still the greatest.
Mm.
King Shaka Zulu, he's been gone since the 1600s. We still know who King Shaka, the greatest warrior king ever to ever live. So this is what I mean by you have to have courage. Because as
Mm-hmm.
Maya Angelou said, you need courage to do everything. We need,
Mm-hmm.
right now, what we're doing right now takes courage. Me and
Mm-hmm.
you are 11 hours away from me. And we having the courage to get on this thing right here and talk about what we want to talk about. We're not
Mm-hmm.
asking for anybody's permission, not Paramount,
Mm.
not Marvel Studios, not anybody. So courage to go from here to go to here to go to
Yeah.
here.
Mm.
Each book was a stepping stone. So now we get to
Mm.
version 5. I got names now, and now you got Cajun's Jones Phoenix, Sarah's Phoenix, Diesel's Ben Gray, Shepard's Vincent Pierce, and these names. I want to make sure that I make people understand where I got the names from.
Wow.
The names were
Vincent
important
Pierce.
because
Vincent Pierce, that landed hard on me, bro.
yeah, because I chose the names for a certain reason. For example, Shepard, this guy right here, right? Vincent Pierce, he's actually blind. But the reason why his name is Vincent Pierce is because he spent his whole life piercing through barriers. When you're blind, you're gonna deal with a lot, right? And then he's adopted. So I need y'all to go get this bio book because it's available now on soundvision.com. It's gonna help you to really understand the characters. And so the
Yo,
name, and
you
also too, it
cooking,
was
bro.
important to me.
You
Go ahead.
cooking, bro.
Oh yeah,
You
hey
cooking.
man, it's a very when I talk about these characters, I get excited. And when
You
I
cooking,
when,
fam.
yeah, I'm telling you, when I created the names were very important because one, I wanted to avoid any kind of slave name, and I mean that. Nothing that
Yeah.
was born to you. It needed to be something that was yours. So I
Yeah.
chose names that were not necessarily English, but names that were events, situations like that.
Woo.
That was really. That's why it took so long for the names to be created. Like like for example, Ben Gray. The word gray isn't just gray; it's neutral. It means to be neutral.
Wow.
Vincent Pierce, the word pierce, to shatter through something. Um,
Wow.
Sun Tzu's real name is Blaine Bishop, to be the king of your own universe.
You
So,
cooking, bro.
Scarlet Gray, who's the sister. So, Sincere, Diesel, and Artillery are siblings.
Uh-huh.
Artillery is the general of the
Mm.
assassins, but she's also
Mm.
the fiance of Sun Tzu. So, all this is like very integral stuff. Like Revo and Kanji are daughters and son and daughter of Sun Tzu. Excursion Ruben Drones. Like Ruben Drones is like because he's military, but he's a villain. So the name Drones itself was like to be something that's cybernetic. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I just man, if I could keep talking, this thing would take 12
You
hours to talk
cooking,
about.
bro.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. You giving us the sauce, and I love it. You
Yes.
cooking,
The
and it's
book, the book, the
fabulous.
book. If you want
The
all the
book.
sauce, you gotta go get this
And
Bible book.
listen, it's in the chat.
As
SANUSI vision.com. Okay. So he gave you a little bit of the sauce there. You know, go get you a whole plate and a bowl full. All right.
I'm telling you.
Um, bro, you hit on a lot, right? There was
Yeah.
a few different things I wanted to ask you, but you've touched
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. No.
just said as well. The truth of it is that even though family are not always on involved, our lives, like you said, some of these characters are taken directly from family references. And you know what? You know what it says? Everybody has the materials to draw from.
Yes, you do.
Your personal experience, you know, what you've seen, and this goes back to some stuff we were saying earlier, your personal experience. Everyone has the resources to draw from. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
especially in this day and age when we have opportunities like we do now. So I just want to touch that going through, touch that and fly on. Another thing you mentioned as well, which I was going to ask you about as well, which you touched a bit on as well, is you know, some of your significant transitions. You know, you
Ooh,
talked about 2009, and then you talked about a few years after that. You know, the investment of time into actually coming up with how these characters looked physically,
yeah.
but then who they were as characters as well, and their personality traits. Um, but what about your drawing? What helped you transition or advance your drawing skills? Because that storytelling is one thing, but drawing is a skill set in itself. So at times, did you get discouraged about when you look at stuff and look back at yours, you'd be like, it ain't working.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? Like what was that like for you? Like what were tell us about a down moment where
Man,
you turned tragedy into triumph when you looked, you said, you know what? I'm still gonna go forward. This, yeah. Give us
man,
one moment.
bro, that's an amazing question because it's funny that I was gonna talk about that. I went through a period when I moved from Kentucky, which you know very well, Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington,
Yep.
Kentucky, to California. The whole point from
Mm,
the whole point from coming from California, I mean, from coming from Lexington, Kentucky, and Louisville, Kentucky to California was to pursue this art dream. There was
wow.
actually a period for 5 years I didn't draw, and it started when I finished college. It was right before I moved from Kentucky to California. My job just got in the way, bro. I was
Mm,
uninspired. I was stressed. The money was okay, but it was like that's when I realized I'm not a money guy. I don't care about money. Like I'd get these
wow.
paychecks every 2 weeks,
Hold,
but I had no time for drawing. I was so
bro, come on.
exhausted.
Can I just put that on repeat? That's
Yeah,
when I realized. What did you just say? That's when you
that's when I
realized.
realized I don't care about money. Money don't move me.
Woo!
I don't care about money. That's straight up what I said to myself. Like all this money I'm making, but I don't. It's not making me happy. And I said, man, this talent that needs to grow is not even growing at all. It literally was on pause for 5 years. I literally did not draw for 5 years. That was horrible. I'm talking like pencil paper, draw something. I was always just working. I was like, bro, this is not working. And then one day I just said to myself, I looked at my bank account. I got enough saved. I'm done with this job. I walk in, I give him my 2-week notice, and I left. Let me tell you, it was not a popular decision with my parents, but I've always made decisions that weren't popular with my parents. I've got to the junction in my life where I was like, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm just telling you what I'm doing so you know what I'm doing. But your permission is not necessary. You know what I'm saying? I went through that phase that I wasn't evolving. Then after that 5-year stint, because I wouldn't call it depression, I would just call it like lack of happiness. It's a big, it's there's a line I always use every day. Joy is a lifestyle, happiness is a chore. What that means is that I live in a serenity state. For me to seek happiness every day is a job. I shouldn't have to seek happiness. Joy is a lifestyle. Happiness is a chore. When you're in a joyous state, you live in a place of serenity. But when you're seeking happiness every day, you're not fulfilled. It means that you are spending every single day, finding happiness. That is a job, bro. I don't want that job. They can keep that. You know what I'm saying? Look at your face. That's how I know what I just said is hitting you hard. Joy is a lifestyle. Happiness is a chore. And I got that from Matthew McConaughey, the great actor. I was watching his motivational videos because I watch him every single Monday. And he was saying a lot of people pursue something that doesn't fulfill them. Money, status. Like, remember in the beginning when you said when you're introducing me, I said there's never going to be a day where I don't introduce myself. I don't care how famous I am. I'm going to walk into a room. Hey, my name is Adewale Agboke. Nice to meet you. Your name is Sarah, or whatever your name is. I'm always going to do that. I still do that. Even at my job that I work at now, every single customer, I introduce myself to them. I get their name. So I let them know that you are not just now another person now serving number 100. I'm not doing that. I've come to value time, most importantly, people's humanity. The person as a human being, this person standing in front of me, I don't care if they're worth $1 billion or if they're worth $2. I don't care if they're homeless or they live in a mansion bigger than a football stadium. I'm not, as I always say, we walk up and down the stairs the same way, 1 feet at a time. Your feet, just because you got $100 million in your bank account, ain't better than the person with $2 in their bank account. We have this thing in this world where we try to make people like that they're more important. A person with money is not more important than a person without money. A person with my talent is no less important than a person without my talent. There's lots of people in this world that can't do what I can do. There's not 5 people in this world that can do what I can do. I'm a different gear, and I know that. Just like Tupac is a different gear. Just like you're a different gear. Malcolm X is a different gear. Harriet Tubman, whoever, Muhammad Ali, whoever I want to name, that's a different gear. They are different gears, but that doesn't make them any more different than a person that's not doing those things. So when not drawing, the evolution came when I moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
Now the return to the pen, I call it the return to the pencil. And I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna come all the way from somewhere else to come to here, I will never again not draw. So every single Sunday, I made it my business to put pencil to the paper. I literally scheduled a day for drawing. Till today, I do it. So every single Sunday, I put my pencil to that paper, live with it too. And what I do is to let people know that sometimes you can have I don't want to call it a breakup, but it was like a separation from love. Then I returned back to love, and then I started
Shouts out
prioritizing the
Snow
art.
Anonymous.
Say
I
what's
agree with you,
synonymous? Look
Snow
at that.
Anonymous.
She said that's profound. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's profound because I did not appreciate my art. Like the whole time I was like trying to do something else, which was the music, which you'll get into that later. But I had to put the art where it belonged. It was number one. Clear number one. Not 1A, not 1B, one. Everything else was going to be number two, period. That included the music. I was not going to make the music number one. Not over the art. No. And so I started to schedule my things, have a structure to it. And that word structure was really important to get me where I am, even to today. And we speak about it all the time off air. Structure is what got me here. Structure is what got you here. Y'all, when I say me and my boy, we went through some hell, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Like this man right here done been through some stuff. You done been through the ringer. I done been through the ringer. But you see, you keep a smile on your face because you know, as Tupac would say, with every dark night, there's a bright day. So no matter how hard it get, stick your chest out, keep your head up and handle it. Bruce Lee always says, the person who thinks they're gonna win is eventually gonna win. And I love me some Bruce Lee. Boy, I love me some Bruce Lee. Now you gotta remember,
Right.
Bruce Lee was in the 1970s. This man died in 1972. And I speak about this man like as if he's been around since like, but that's what I mean by immortality. When your words live longer than you, when your actions live longer than you. You see what I'm saying? And so I realized pencil to paper, 2009, let's go. I'm like, okay, time to start creating these characters. And then came the birth of the Carjack Assassins. The name itself, Carjacks versus Assassins, it came from, I've had it since I was in college. The name Carjacks is all I had. Not the verses, not the Assassins part, just Carjacks. Because I love Japanese cartoons. Gundam Wing, Voltron, Thundercats. I just wanted to have Japanese flair to it. That's where the name Carjacks came from. So I said, well, if I
Now
spell it
hold
this
on.
way, it's gonna look Japanese.
Hold on though. So now, if this is more sauce that needs to be reserved for another time, that's cool. But
Yes,
let me ask you.
you know what? Let's do something for another time. I don't want to give them too much sauce.
I ain't gonna
So let's
I ain't
cut
gonna
it.
go into that.
That way it'll give you more showtime. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
cool. Yep.
More showtime. And then what happened was when
Project.
pencil came to the paper, I started to grow. I went from like, man, I'm gonna say this nicely. I went from like, okay, I got drafted in the second round to like that guy should be the number one pick overall. What were we seeing? What were we not? It's kind of like Tom Brady getting drafted in the sixth round. What were y'all
Let me
thinking?
let me shout out Gingerbread, man.
Yeah, hey,
Senor
what's up?
Kimba. What's
You got
happening, Gingerbread? We we live from Baku in Azerbaijan.
yep,
We can do that in a bit, but I think, man, I think the greatest exports of um one of the greatest influential exports is culture, bro.
yep,
You know, because it the way in which
yeah, right. What when right, right. You make a great point there. I think when you break the barrier of Eurocentralizing, when you're no longer Eurocentralized, you start to appreciate Asian culture, Asian culture, Samoan culture, Polynesian culture, African culture, whatever culture you start to appreciate it. And because for the longest, one of the problems with cartoons was it was Eurocentralized.
boy,
A lot of
boy,
yeah,
listen, you done said some stuff there, brother. Yeah.
it's Eurocentralized, and a lot of people didn't have the courage to draw what they really need to be drawing. And so when you got
Mm.
cats like myself and others that are out there that are saying going against the grain, saying we're not gonna be drawing white people all day long. We're not going for that. Then
Yeah.
you gotta move
Oh,
it.
excluding the full narrative.
Exactly. And those narratives are no less more important than a Eurocentralized narrative. And it's and Hollywood, I'm not gonna give them any passes. They are very ignorant, very
and
backwards,
and
and
deliberate.
very not diverse at all. They're not. They like they'll stick a brother in a movie and then call it diverse. So you're gonna take one person from a culture and everybody else is over here, and you're gonna say it's diverse? No, if you want to call it diverse, stick more than one brother or sister on the movie. 3, 4. Now that's diverse. With 5 other white people, now that's diverse. Don't call it diverse. It's like for example, with cartoons. They'll put Superman, Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Al Jordan, and then they'll stick Cyborg there in the back, and call it diverse. Avengers, they'll take Iron Man, Captain America, um, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, Thor, and then they'll stick Black Panther in the back. But now, because of the movie, they're forced to push Black Panther in the front because he's a bigger character than all of them. So these are the things that were journeys. So drawing what you draw, how you draw, the evolution of my pencil, I got so good, bro, that people started saying, bro, you draw Japanese style. I got so good that people were like, bro, you need to move to Japan. I got so good, bro, that people were like, dudes in Japan can't even touch you. The last comic expo I went to last month, people will come to my table like, what? Is this your drawing? Is this your drawing? Because guess why? They've never seen anybody that looks like me that can draw like this.
Come on,
and
bro.
it's both cool and ignorant at the same time. It just shows you
Sure.
that people are living in a box and they're not opening up their minds to what are the possibilities out there outside of it. My drawing talent, man, I always say to myself, I'm top 5, I'm not famous. I'm top dog once everybody knows my name. Can't nobody see me. You know what I'm saying?
Like it.
I'm Jordan, I'm Barry Sanders, I'm Randy Moss, I'm Jerry Rice, I'm Wayne Gretzky, I'm the baddest dude that when whatever sport you pick, I'm the baddest person in that person. You know what I'm saying? I'm that dude. You feel me? So I don't have to talk about it all the time. You just see my work, you know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's grown, man. Also, to my mind is probably being the biggest weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity. To be able to draw things, to be able to construct ideas, and then fulfill them. That's probably what's been the biggest the most significant transition is this transitioning failures and not caring about failure. Yeah. It's hard, man, but I do it every day.
I love it, bro. Thank you. You know that mindset shift, man, is an important one. You know, people always say that it's got to happen in the mind first, you know, and then everything else follows. You know.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing. We've been talking about your drawing journey, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people also don't know that you're also a musician as well, and a writer. Um, so two things. Can you give us a little bit about your introduction to music, when it became significant to you, and what it also took for you to acknowledge that that was a significant passion for you as well? And it's interesting, when I asked that question, I realized I'm asking you that, realizing that it's similar to the drawing one. It's one of these desires or disciplines that people often uh, brush off or shrug off as being this uh, chasing a fantasy,
Yeah.
or this, you know, this thing that is not, it is not a what would we call a realistic
Yeah.
goal to have, to
Yeah.
pursue it. You know, so yeah, talk about that. When did that start? When did you become interested in music? You know, and your journey to how you got into it, and then also too, later on, I want to talk about how the two influence each other.
Man,
Oh, hold on, 2 seconds. Hold that thought. Gingerbread, shouts out. I'm
yeah,
thinking you're probably from Azerbaijan or probably from Vancouver, and that's amazing.
yeah,
You guys are tuning in already, you know, because I'm fresh here. But so my favorite song or poem that I've written. Okay, so I'm gonna
yeah,
give you two. My favorite song, one of my favorite songs is called King Arthur. All right,
yeah.
so you guys haven't heard this song, but you may on Friday. You
Street
may actually,
English, street English.
yeah, yeah. This is from an album called King Arthur. Is a song, or it's a song, partially a poem, when a cappella, when from an album that I've released a few years ago called Street English. So but you guys are gonna get some music on Friday. So stay tuned for that. So Street English, I mean, there's a couple, man, that are really significant to me. I mean, even that album is probably very. I mean, as an album, it's just significant. But bro, hit us with the sauce, man. When did the music thing happen for you? What was your early influences, and then what caused you to jump off the porch, as some people say, and go outside and jump off the porch into it?
Man, I started listening to music. So my favorite rapper, my favorite music person, period, is Tupac Shakur, the greatest of all
Mm,
time, period. I don't consider him just the greatest rapper. I consider him the greatest music person, period. His
okay.
influence is like nobody has the kind of influence that he has. They're teaching courses on this man. And so I had a very um I don't want to use the word humble, man. I had a rough childhood. And so the kind of childhood that I have, when you grow up that you grow up without money, you grow up in a poverty, you grow up in just not having enough, you grow up in just a very dysfunctional situation. Some things, the drawing was one thing, that was a visual creation, but the
Mm-hmm.
music gave me a
Mm-hmm.
chance to put pencil to that paper. And I remember the first
Right.
song I wrote, which is going to be on this it's called Life. I've written it, but now I'm working on the new album. And I remember writing, no, that wasn't my first song. My first song was called Cajun Strikes. I remember writing the track. I remember my name's Cajun Crunk just enough. I cut people up like the Silver Samurai. And I was like, whoa, what did I just write? Where did that just come from? At the time I was in college. So I have a guy named Judah, who's my older brother. You see this character right here, Diesel? That's who Diesel's based on. He's like an older brother to me. And he would say, hey, we worked at this gym in the school. So every day I had to
Yeah.
come into the gym with a different rap. I couldn't come in with the same type of concept, nothing. I got points deducted if I did that. So he made me focus my brain on different concepts. So I said, if this music thing is for real, let's make it be for real. So I would write song. I wrote with that one song. I said, whoa, okay, this is kind of cool. Then I wrote Life. I said, what is going on? What was happening was all my life events were rushing out on a piece of paper.
Right.
It was,
Right.
bro, I kid you not. I've written 8 albums already, all written, ready
Woo.
to go. The only thing I need to
Wow.
do is make beats, and that's what I'm doing right now. As
Wow.
we speak, I've made enough beats for the third album. I'm going on to the third album. Finished the second, going on to the third album. What happened to me was I realized that this music was an escape from all my traumas and all the stuff like that. But what also happened was it took away from the art. It became the center point of my life where I immersed myself, as you said. I jumped all in. Like the minute I finished college, the first thing I went to was a music store. I went to go buy a beat machine. I was actually renting the beat machine because I couldn't afford it. So my mom was paying. There goes my mom again, paying for the machine. So I was paying like $22 a month for the machine. So I was making beats. So I made enough to make enough for the first album. I started making the first album. I moved to California. That's when I moved to California in 2000 in that time. And I went straight to recording the album because that was the reason why I came here. And I started
Yeah.
recording the album. I was doing great. The tracks were going good, but I started to run out of money. So
Yeah.
had to you can hear my music synonymous on what I have there now is the old version on Apple Music. Cajun Strikes. KJEN Strikes. STRIKEZ Strikes. It's still on there. Trust me, it gets sampled a
You
lot
got to
every
do that
single day.
again, bro. One more time. Do that again.
Cajun Strikes.
Okay.
JEN.
No, no, no. Spell that out. Spell that out.
Okay, KJEN,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then the strikes part.
Yep.
STRIKEZ.
Yep. Yeah. Cajun
Cajun
Stripes.
Strikes.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
So it's on Apple. It's on Apple. So
Lovely.
I'm going through the journey. I was supposed to have 15 tracks on the album, but the reality of what we're doing hit me, not having enough money. Because I was working at CVS
Right.
at the time, y'all. Y'all, I was making $11 an hour. I want you to think about this.
Mm.
I'm making $11 an hour. I have to pay rent, car note, 400 for car note, 700 for rent. I make 1100 an hour. I only make $700 every 2 weeks. 700 every 2 weeks. That means I make 1400 every month. Remember, I got a car note, I got rent to pay. So I have no money left. So, y'all, my favorite, I would always have to, and this is what makes me appreciate myself. I have I'm not an economics major. I'm none of that. But I'm a natural hustler. I understand money. I was just stacking bread. This is what I got. Yeah, it was released in 2011. Yes, sir. Synonymous, trust me, hear them 5 tracks. You, yo, it's on it. They on it. And I released the album because I could only put 5 tracks. I had to stop at 5 tracks. So it was Cajun Strikes, Life, Gentleman's Club, Game Three Phases, and then oh, what's the 5th track? Oh my God. So Cajun Strikes, Life, Devil's Hand, Game Three Phases, Gentleman's Club. 5 tracks only. So I chose 5 different tracks so people can understand my mentality, 5 different concepts. And then I said, what happened to me was right then and then, you've been through this journey. I invest all this time, all this effort, and I fail. But I didn't fail because it wasn't good. I failed because I depended on others who were full of hot air. Oh, I know this person at Priority Records. I know this person at Def Jam. I know this person at whatever record label. And me being a sucker, me being a very just pursuing this dream, like just wanted to just get it. I let people talk big and do very little. I'm gonna put it that way. And there's a and people can say this, and you've been through this. There's an anger that builds in you, like, dang, people can really just take a dump on your dream. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Kimba wrote this song called C Motions. It's on the album.
You
The
got
new
it.
album
C motions.
Class Crown. Say it again, Kimba. What was that? Say correct me again.
C motions. C motions.
C motions. What it's really about is the lonely journey of your dream that you fail in and that you succeed in. It's a gut wrenching, man. Bro, I went into a mini depression where that's what gave birth to Cardiac for Assassins. I said, okay,
wow,
enough of this music mess. Apparently, it's not so much that I failed at it, but I let people that were full of hot air direct the direction of my dream. Make sense what I'm gonna say it again? I let people that were full of hot air direct the direction of my dream. Remember, I was producing the songs, I was writing the songs, I was making the beats, I was doing everything. I was the orchestration. The only thing that was happening was the engineer in the studio was pushing all the buttons. I would tell him what to do. I'll tell him how the song would start. I was the orchestrator of the album. And so I failed because I let people that had no business being part of my journey be part of my journey. And then I went into this, I call it the anger state. I call it the Incredible Hulk state, where I was just like, I just wanted to, oh my God, I just wanted to break something. I was like, I'm not gonna lie about it. I was going through it, and then I calmed down. I said, okay, well, I haven't told my brother I'm going to delete all these songs. And my brother's like, nah, you're not deleting all these songs. Keep them.
Wow.
When the time comes again, you get back to it. So I shut off music completely. I didn't write a song for 10 years, bro. 10 years. No, I didn't let one song come into my head. Whenever it would come, I push it away. I pushed it away. I said, I'm putting all my focus on art, on these guys right here. And I'm glad I did. And the reason why I'm glad I did was because the music became the background for the music, for the art. So then in 2021, 10 years later, because the album got released in 2011, 10 years later, my best friend, I went to Dallas to go visit him. I was living in Texas at the time. I decided I'm going to move from California in 2020 to Houston, Texas. Not for the music, but just for the art, because I felt like Texas was a better business platform area for business. Because I wanted to open up a store. And then the pandemic came. Now you can't do nothing, right? The pandemic hit everybody different, man. And for me, I got a chance to create Batas, my footwear line, Asha, my clothing line, Sanusi Vision, the company name, Cardiac for Assassins to further build it up. And then I go into the music. I said, okay, my boy was like, hey, he didn't tell me what we were doing. I just went to visit him. He said, hey, Wiley, we're going to meet somebody. I said, who are we going to meet? Man, I'm not trying to whatever. I did not know that he was taking to go meet a guy who owned a studio. Because he apparently had told the guy, yo, I got a best friend. This dude can rap. So he played some of the old stuff for him before I got there. Then I took the stuff I had on my phone. Even though I still had that anger was still there, but I still had my music in my phone because I created this.
Yeah, you knew.
So I played it for him.
Yeah.
I played it for him. He's like, whoa, this dude can rap. Like, because my boy, I told him, yo, you need to hear this guy. He's a lyricist. Like, you need to hear this. This guy, and he heard it. He's like, He made me play back Cajun Strikes 3 times. He's like, let me hear that again. I was like, you heard it. I was like, let me hear that again. Then he heard me say it live. He's like, bro, you got flow. See, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of guys, you can write a song, but then when you can write a song, your voice has a presence, and then you have a flow, oh, it's over. And then we get into the booth. So I said to him, I want to finish what I started.
Yeah.
But I also want to change my sound. I need my sound to become what it needs to become me. I said, what I need from you is I need you to orchestrate these buttons on this machine right here. I'm going to come with how the music's going to sound. The lyrics, the beats. I can sing my own hook. So he said, so I played this one track called Gentleman's Club, which I sang the chorus, I sang the hook, but I also played Can You. He's like, who's singing? I said, that's me. He's like, what? Wait, you're both dudes? I said, yeah, I'm both dudes. He's like, man, let me hear this live. So I sing for him. He's like, what the hell? I said, yeah. He's like, bro, let's get into the studio. So I told him, I remember this date, November 11th, 2021. Excuse me, November 12th, 2021, we started recording a new album, Cajun Strikes. And I said to myself, this time, I'm not interested in no record deals, none of that. I'm doing this all on my own. I created my own label called Cajun Music. I was like, I'm naming everything. I'm doing it all on my own. I'm making all the beats. I'm doing everything. So I take it. We start going to the studio. What we did was we took what I'd already recorded vocally. Right. We started to move my vocals into a different into a I want to call it into a different layer of sound. So then we took my beats. We moved my beats too. Then we added to my beats. So what I'll do is I'll come with these little notes. Okay, put intro, put a bell, put an electricity here. All kinds of stuff I was creating. Like, man, give me a second. Watch. Let me grab something for y'all.
Okay.
So I can really break it down for y'all what I did.
I hope y'all enjoying. I think y'all enjoying the enjoying the stream. Getting some sauce here.
These are like notes, right, for my songs. Wow. So each song had a note, right? Wow. I was writing notes for each song, and I'd go into the studio. You see this? Song corrections. So I'd go in there, and I'd be like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And then the great thing about Ife is that he's got a musical mind, right? So we started creating, man, bro. When we when we did the first track, I said, oh my God. He had this idea of me singing the hook in the first track. Because I would say something like, I can't say because we have to release the album and I haven't finished it, so I don't want to sing it, but he made me sing the hook. And when we sang the hook, I said, oh my God, this is different. Then I played for my brother. So every time I go into the studio, I play for my brother. Yeah. He's like, oh, this is fire. You know Tyre. So, Tyre, they came to visit y'all. And I said to him, okay, I got something here. And then we finished track 1, track 2, track 3. We were getting to track 4, which is going to be the best song on the album. And then I realized I hit another wall. And that wall was I need to address the anxieties, the traumas I had as a child in my childhood. Because it kept on getting in the way. It's always been in the way. And if you don't address something, it's going to keep being in the way. So what I did was I had to shut it down, the music again for the second time. Right. That was a big decision. Right. But that was a great decision because now I'm in a different, healthier state. Now I can get back to what I was doing. A lot of people don't do that. They'd be like, well, I'm just going to push through. No, I'm not going to do that. Because I wish, if I had any wish for this one particular artist, because he's my favorite, Tupac, I wish Tupac would have had time for therapy. Just to decompress.
You're the first person I've heard say that.
I'm so sick of people trying to dump on him all the time. You didn't live his life. You didn't go through his traumas. You didn't go through his... Man, that man had a hard life, bro. Born into poverty. Single motherhood. Homeless. Starving. Like I get so sick of people always want yo, quit putting him down. You didn't live his life. He went through hell, bro. And he was a family man. And when I say family man, he was responsible for feeding his own family.
Yeah.
from no money.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
no money, but he's got to feed his family. Tupac lived 25 years, but in his 25 years, he did more than most people have lived. He lived 100 people's lives. 1 million people couldn't live his life. And so
Yeah.
that gave me the courage to say, you know what? Let's shut down this music. Let's just fix you.
Right.
Fix you. That's a big word,
Wow.
bro. Fix you.
Yeah.
Get that you need so that you can be the healthiest version of yourself. I really
Yeah.
had to give I really had to reanalyze myself and say, I got some things I need to get past. Because if I don't get past them, my music will never be the best version of it. Because my uncle, my uncle I'm almost telling you about giving me the lines. Me and my uncle talked
Yeah.
about this. Me and my uncle sat down for like 2 hours and we said, Junior, the battle plan has got to be you need to do therapy for 2 years.
Mm.
Just give up everything. Just shut it all down. No work, no nothing. Just go do this thing. So I go from
Wow.
Texas, I drive all the way to Virginia, which is a
Wow.
4-day drive, 1,500 miles, 1,408 miles exactly. I remember it. And I spent that entire drive thinking about how I was going to heal myself, what I was going to do. So my brother and his family at the time were living in Virginia. And this is what, once again, back to family again. It's good to have loved ones around you to help you to be part of your journey. So I moved
Mm.
to Virginia. Every day I stayed in this little pool house they had in their house, but I needed to have
Mm.
serenity because I was, man, I was
Mm.
I was like, okay, this the top, I was at the bottom. This is in
Wow.
2022. With
Wow.
all the talent that I have. I don't mind sharing
Wow.
this. I hope that this gives people courage to say that no matter where you at, you can always be somewhere else.
Wow.
I Even with all the stuff I was doing, I still was not right, man. I was just
Yeah.
not right. I was just like, I'm not right. I
Yeah.
need to this. And
Yeah.
I can be blunt about this. My relationship with my father is one that was not. If healthy
What's
is over
strong?
here, we were
Yeah.
over here.
Right.
And as long as you have that dilemma, that I don't know what to call it, that friction, you're always
Yep.
never going to be 100% of yourself. And
Right.
so I spent my life trying to smash down the wall when I should
Right.
have let it dissolve, which is what has happened now.
Mm.
Now it's
Mm.
dissolved. There is no more wall. There is no more
Yeah.
anger towards my father. He's a
Yeah.
he's a part of my success journey. He actually knows that I
Yeah.
come the comic book. I always say to people, I remember telling him, I don't need sorry from you. What I need is for you to, and the biggest sorry you can do for me is for your actions to change, which he has
Yeah.
changed. See, if people are
Yeah.
trying to change, you actually have to give them a chance to change.
Right.
You can't say you
Right.
want sorry, but then the person is changing, you're not accepting the sorry. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So once that what happened, now everything starts to elevate. Within the time frame
Yeah.
of, so that happened this year where I called my father on his birthday, because I spent from 2023 to 2020, no, 2023 to 2024, because I started therapy in
Yeah.
2023. So this
Yeah.
year was 2 years. So I remember calling my dad on his birthday and I said, one, happy birthday, but two, I'm not calling you to forgive you. I'm calling you to let you know I've moved past it because the therapy and everything I've been doing helped me to realize that I need to move past. I need to move past what has happened in the past, and that
Yeah.
your choices, your abuse of the
Mhm.
family, it's not
Yeah.
about forgiveness, but it's more about uh just moving past it. And the biggest sorry you can give me is to change your direction, change your
Yeah.
actions, change who you are as a
Right.
human being, which the man has
Right.
done, right?
Yeah.
So for the longest, I thought that. Remember when I said I've been a man since I was 7 years old?
Yes, sir.
I was defending my family since I was 7 years old. My
Mm.
mother. And I'm not gonna. It's just when you're in an
Yeah.
intoxicating environment. My father was an alcoholic
Yeah.
to an. I told him that to his face, and he realized what I was
Yeah.
talking about now. Abusive.
Yeah.
We're already poor. We have no money. So you being an abusive
Right.
human being does not help the situation.
Right. For
So the
sure.
only thing I
For
had
sure.
was creativity, creativity in
Yeah.
the arts, creativity in the
Yeah.
music. So the music and the art were the art and the music, because I like phrasing it right, were always
Yeah.
umbrellas to protect me, but they can never
Yeah.
protect me from the from the what had already transpired. I needed to
Yeah.
address because as
Yeah. You
human,
needed to heal from the
yes,
trauma. You couldn't. You can't keep running from your trauma, trying to escape it
yes,
by.
it does not help.
Yeah. You can't put a band-aid over
No,
an internal wound.
no. Internal wounds
Yeah. I
don't
mean.
require bandage. They require
Yeah.
specificity. They require
Yeah.
time. They require
Yeah.
understanding. And so when I was able to do that, man, everything started to change. Now,
Mm.
within but even though during the time frame when I was still doing the therapy, I was still
Yeah.
making beats. So I made
Okay.
all the beats for the second album, 15
Wow.
tracks.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I kept. One thing my therapist was emphasizing was just because you're in therapy doesn't mean you get to give up your craft.
Oh. Oh.
So
Oh.
my first therapist was a lady at the time when I started, right? Then when I ran out of sessions, I got more therapy sessions through my brother, my younger brother, because where he worked at.
Right.
And then when I
Right.
ran out of sessions with that, I started to do sessions myself. That's when the therapy that I met now, the guy who's my therapist now, it's been a year and a half with him, man. It's been an amazing year and a half. Then the uh the last therapy session is gonna be next month in May. We're done. He said, he told me straight up, you don't need therapy no more. You are in a different place, man.
Yeah.
Even when we started, he said, for a person who's been through all the stuff you've been through, they don't turn out like you. Most become addicts, whether alcoholics, drug addicts, some kind of negative, self-destructive addiction. But
Yeah.
you're not any of
Yeah.
those things. You are
Fantastic.
you are an anomaly, man. You
Yeah.
are an anomaly. And I think
Right.
what made me an anomaly was the art and the music.
Yeah.
I had something, and this I don't know. I know you believe in spirituality.
Yeah.
Okay, you know my company is called Sanusi Vision, right?
Yeah.
The name Sanusi is my great grandfather's name. I really believe that my grandfather's spirit is like, I'm gonna protect my baby. I'm gonna give him gifts that are gonna distract him, so to keep him from worrying about what he's dealing with. Every single day, I believe in my grandfather's spirit. I always feel like he's always there to make sure that I'm protected. I've
Mm.
been through a lot, bro.
Yeah.
And I can promise with you, I used to think I was gonna be dead at like 22 or something, like die
Wow.
super young. But I felt like my
Wow.
grandfather was like, nah, I'm gonna make sure that you worry about your front, I worry about your back.
Wow.
And so every single day, ever since I put his name on everything I've done, the company
Yeah.
name, since that
Yeah.
2009,
Mm.
there's been a transition of, even when I failed, I've succeeded.
Wow.
Because as Denzel Washington says, when you fail going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm not afraid of failure. Fail going
Yeah.
forward. Okay to fail. I welcome it.
Right.
So everything I went through, my transition, my therapy, man, it
Yeah.
changed my life, bro. Like now we back
Amazing.
to the music. I told my music guy, Ife, I said, bro, I have to go away, man. I can't keep going. This is not gonna work. I'm not gonna finish. I'm not gonna do this music the way I like to do it.
Yeah.
And these songs, bro, were fire. The first
Mm.
four. And I'm
Mm.
like, but when you know that something needs to be done, you have to go
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I
It's
did.
true.
For
Yeah.
anybody out there that's watching right now, let me tell you this right
Right.
here.
Yeah.
It is better for you to clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up than to be like some of these other tragedies that we see on TV every day. How many times have we heard of musicians taking life, becoming overdosing, whatever, when they could have just spent a year, just or 2 years, pull back away from what you're doing. That's why I said about Tupac. I wish if I could do anything for Tupac, I'd tell him, just go rest, man. I really believe Tupac never got to rest. He never got to rest. He dropped an album, Tupacalypse, got into all that BS that he got into. The world is literally against him. That's why he did that album, Me Against the World. He goes to jail, he comes out of jail, and the world is still against him. Then he leaves this world. So he never got to rest. No rest at all for this brother. None. So like that's why I'm always so very protective of him. I get so sick of people just taking a dump on him. You didn't get to be him. You didn't get to live his life. You know what I mean? Your Wi-Fi is still acting think it's still glitching a little bit. Yeah. So yeah. Yes, that's actually a good
because this
idea.
is
You can use this next set of
yeah,
questions.
this is it's
Yeah.
parent
Oh yeah.
really dropping some gems. You know what I mean? Dropping some gems, and your journey, man, is inspiring. And always, you know what I mean?
I do it,
It's
man. I do it, man.
and inspiring because we see the results of being authentic, right? Like,
Yes, sir.
oh,
Look at that. That's
look
the
at this,
kicks.
guys.
Look, look.
Look
That's
at
the
these
kicks.
shoes, guys. Look at the so look at what he's wearing on
On
his
clothing. And the main
torso,
factors that are on the
and
clothing.
then look at the shoes to match. Man, get out of here, man.
So that's what we're doing, man.
Sanusi Vision.
That's what we're doing.
Sanusi Vision.
Yes, sir.
That's what we're doing. Well, listen, bro. Shout out the website one more time where people can find
Yes,
you.
you can go to sanusvision.com, sanusvision.com. It's man,
Sanusi
it's an
Vision.
amazing website. All the gear, all the artists there. You can see the also my podcast is there, and then of course my YouTube channel, Sanus Vision. So everything with me, Twitter, Instagram, all my social medias are all Sanus Vision. Very, very, very easy to find. The biggest platforms for me that I use the most is mostly YouTube and TikTok. Then of course you got the
Okay.
Facebook as well. But yeah, that's the website, man. You know, it was. There was. Thank you for bringing me on, man. We gotta do this again, round two, I guess. Continuation. I don't know, cause it's getting late where you at,
Yeah.
man. It's probably 2 in the morning, some craziness like that.
Nah, it's not two yet, but I'm definitely gonna beat the clock before it gets to that late.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta beat the
Um,
clock, man.
but shouts out to everybody who's tuning in for the first time, especially
Yeah.
those from Azerbaijan. I mean,
Yes.
geez, you know, I mean that's instant because I'm just here. This is only my second day here, so
Yeah.
you know, I appreciate y'all and spread the word. You know, put people on. This is a live, so you know they'll be able to come back and check this out probably within the the next 24 hours for sure. So
Yeah.
you know, appreciate y'all. You know, be encouraged by what you heard. You know, you got a dream, you got a passion, go for it. First of all, make sure that inside you're all right, you're whole. You know what I mean? You don't want to be out here trying to spread yourself too thin when you in pieces. You know what I mean? But check on yourself, check on your people. You know, write down some goals and some visions for what fulfills you, and you know, move in that direction. So, yeah, man. Shouts out
Hey,
to
it's
Junior.
synonymous. Vi-
Sanusi Vision.
yes, sir.
Thank you guys. I'm now more motivated. Hey, listen, that's what we want to do.
Hey, that's what we want
We
to
want
do,
to
man.
motivate and inspire. We want
Yeah,
to
just
motivate and inspire.
yes,
All
sir.
right. So we're looking forward to the next one. Don't forget to check out uh he also has a podcast. Junior also has a podcast. Sanusi Vision also has a podcast. So you can go on you can go on mainly his website because his website will connect you to everything else. And yeah, we get into it. We get
Yes,
into
sir.
it.
Man,
All
appreciate
right.
you. Blessings upon blessings continue to shine, bro. The
Thank you,
stars is
brother.
yours. Yes, sir.
Likewise, brother. Catch
Yes,
up.
sir.
All
Peace.
right.
Blessings.
Peace. Peace. Blessings.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Y'all seen it. See y'all soon. Tupac, yeah, definitely so influential, and yeah. Uh, we'll be back very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. See you soon. Peace and blessings.